Howdy, and welcome to the almost world-famous Cactus Atlas. This is a camping episode, and for the next couple days I'm going to be calling Chiricahua National Monument my home. I'm going to be staying at the Bonita Canyon Campground and giving you a little tour and letting you know what I think. So if you want to find out, stick around. Let's go find out together. Boy, and I've just kind of arrived, and you can see we are in the middle of nowhere. But we're about to drive up here into Chiricahua, and as you're about to see, the landscape is about to change. Currently, there is no fee to enter Chiricahua. It's pretty much free. Now, camping, of course, is not free. There is a fee for that. So as always, I want to start off by giving you a quick tour of my campsite. And as you can see, it's very clean. I kind of like what they did with the place here in some ways. You can see where I decided to put my tent. It wasn't much of a choice because they do have tent pads to designate where you should set your tent up. They are 12 feet by 12 feet. And as with every campsite here, you're going to get a picnic table, as well as a grill, a stand-up grill, so a little different than some of our other recent experiences. They don't allow ground fires here, so you are limited to using these unless you bring your own fire ring, but that must sit 6 inches off the ground. So keep that in mind if you come to visit. And you'll see these posted everywhere and on your own picnic table. This is black bear country. So basically what that means is you gotta keep your food, your toiletries, anything with a scent locked up securely. And there are 2 ways that you can do that according to the signage. The first is keep things locked in your car securely, which is what I've done. Your other option are that they provided food lockers. So this is a first for me, certainly. I've never camped anywhere where I've had to use these before, or have an option of using them anyway. The way they work is you stick your hand in there and there's a latch and it just opens up nicely. And you can see they're clean. I don't see any ants or anything roaming in there. This is the other type of food storage box that they have here. So let's take a look. Oh, yeah, you can see some spider webs down there. And there's some ants in this one, so, And here's a neighboring site. So my site is here, and you'll see that they have water spigots very evenly spaced, very convenient. So I don't have to go far to get drinkable water. Let's try this guy. Yeah, it pulls hard, but man, you get good water pressure, and it's cold water. This is site 7. So let's go take a look at site 7 before they arrive. You can kind of see a site right next to mine. So I'm site 5, if I already didn't tell you that. This is site 7. Here's a tent pad. Tent pads are quite nice. I would say they're it's almost like kitty litter kind of texture, this gravel. It's actually very soft when you walk on it inside of your tent. I don't want to say it has cushion, but it's kind of a weird sensation. You can see this road kind of dips down. Probably hard for certain vehicles to get in and out. They do have restrictions on the size of vehicles that can come into this park. Watch this. This guy's gonna scrape the bottom of his truck here. Oh, God, that's horrible. It's the back of his trailer that he's scraping on that. But that might be helpful for you to see in case you're towing a camper like that. I don't know how long that is. It looks pretty long, but that dip right there is not friendly to campers. So obviously, if you've watched a few of my camping guides, you'll notice that I always focus on tent camping. I don't have any experience with RVs or campers, although that's something in the future that I'd like to get into. So I usually just focus on what it's like from a tent camper's perspective. If you would like to have me go deeper into other things like that, leave me a comment down below and I will see what I can do to be better prepared in the future. So let's go take a quick tour of the campground. As with all sites here, they are pretty close together. As you can see, that's the neighboring site. I think there are 3 sites right next to each other here. They do have waste receptacles spread throughout, also very convenient to all the campgrounds, or campsites rather. And they recycle aluminum cans, it looks like. Like occasionally too, they've got trash cans for ashes specifically. It's the first one that I've seen. So there's a total of 25 campsites here at the Bonita Canyon Campground, with one group site totaling 26 actually. So 25 standard sites and one group site. And the group site is the only site that has a fire pit. And you can see right across this bridge are the restrooms. There are men and women's flushing toilets, but I do want to let you know this is a small campground, and if I'm not mistaken, those are the only restrooms on the premises. And here's a restroom. It's small, but very clean. You could see it's the men's room, clean toilets. This here is a little disconcerting. Rabies warning. I guess these are the animals that pose a great risk of that. Gray fox skunks and coyotes. So yeah, rabid animals, huh? Skunks being one of them. And you know what I keep smelling virtually everywhere I go is the smell of skunk. Having this phone here is a little bit of a comfort because, as I've discovered, I have virtually no cellular service out here. Everything ranging to simply no service to very occasionally 1 bar of 3G, which is essentially useless. Now I am on the lookout for sites that have a little bit more space, and I think I may have found one. Site 15, which I believe is going to be this one here. So this looks like this could be a nice little site if you want a little bit of extra privacy. Granted, you're still pretty close to the next one, but this one does have a little bit more room to breathe. This is site number 24 if you're looking for a good site. This one's pretty sizable, bigger than mine for sure. I got one of the smaller ones. It's really hard on recreation.gov to get a sense for what a campsite looks like because they only take one picture from one angle, and mine looked bigger than it actually does. I'm pleased with what I got because all the campsites here are quite nice, but it would be nice if there's a better way to see other sites, like our video here. It looks like right back here too, you've got a little amphitheater, and boy, look at that view. It's quite beautiful. So this campground, Bonita Canyon Campground, unlike a lot of other campgrounds in the Southwest, its peak season just started. They do close during the summer because of the monsoon season we have here in Arizona. Monsoons are basically, you'll get a lot of really intense thunderstorms, and there's a flash flood danger here in this campground. So the peak season actually runs between now, early October, through, I believe, late June. So just to kind of show you here the layout, we're here at the campground, and this is the Silver Spur Faraway Trail. So I'm guessing it's this guy that kind of goes along this way to the ranch. I'm also guessing maybe if we want to get to the visitor center, we could also take this, which we'll do that in a little bit. And it is a little nerve-wracking here if you're looking at this. It says you're entering a wilderness area. Cougars, black bears, and rattlesnakes, cactus and cliffs, along with variations in temperature, can be hazards for the unwary, and assistance may not always be immediately available. Now that's certainly something that's a little new to me. I mean, I've camped in plenty of national parks now, and they do have a lot of wildlife, but this is pretty remote. The nearest town is Wilcox, Arizona, which is 40 miles approximately one way, so you'd have to make about an 80-mile round trip to buy ice, firewood, food, whatever it is you need. So you need to be absolutely certain to bring everything you want or need here with you on your trip. Well, camp is set up, food is locked away in the storage locker, and I figure why don't we just take a quick stroll over to the visitor center so I can show you what that looks like. So my destination is the visitor center. At this point, it is a 0.4 mile, so almost half-mile hike. It takes 15 minutes one way. So I did want to take you to the visitor center because I would say that is the closest thing to civilization that you're probably going to find here, mainly because that's your lifeline, I think, to civilization in the form of internet. I think I'll take advantage of that to send my wife a text message and let her know that I arrived safely. Oh my God, that scared me. It's just a deer. I scared it too, I think, but I wasn't expecting that because I was filming looking through my viewfinder and I came around this way and I just saw two big bug eyes looking at me from right over there. And I honestly, quite honestly, I do have like mountain lions on my brain right now. I don't know why. That makes me nervous. It shouldn't be, but whoo! And all it was a harmless little deer. It is beautiful though, despite my nervousness, which I think is most likely very unwarranted. So Chiricahua is a destination for bird watchers. I believe an international destination. A sky island, I think is what they call it. Kind of in the middle of the desert. This area has many different types of habitats, like ranging from dry shrub, like deserty grasslands to higher elevation habitats. So I think that's why there's such a wide range of creatures that live here, especially birds, of which I think I read there are about 200 species or so that live around here. And here we are, the visitor center. You do have restrooms, so if you're not camping here, they probably have flushing toilets in there. They do have water stations to fill up your water bottles, as well as a water fountain covered in yellow jackets. This is the visitor center. They have some cool stuff here, actually. Very similar to a Grand Canyon t-shirt that I saw. I like that. Pretty small gift shop, but they do have like your usual kind of stuff, books that are pertinent to the area. Nice little museum back here. Tells you about some of the things. Now, one thing that would be probably almost impossible to see, they have jaguars that have been spotted in this region. Okay, so just want to quickly confirm with you that I was able to connect to the Wi-Fi, no problem, no password required. It's not a secure network, but I was able to send emails to my wife just to let her know that I'm here okay. I'm also able to check various websites. The speed of the internet seems reasonable, so this is really my lifeline to communicate with folks while I'm here, I think. Okay, so it's a nice little visitor center. There was a ranger in there available to probably answer any questions that you might have. Some nice displays that talk about the geology around the area. Probably worth starting there if you ever come to visit, whether you camp or not, before you start hiking the area, so you understand a little bit of how this thing formed where we're at. I do feel a little bit better. It did talk about bears and mountain lions, and it mentioned that mountain lions typically do tend to live higher up, but occasionally do come down to hunt. So I think now I feel a little bit better and more used to being here, so I'm not as nervous. It's probably needlessly nervous. I still think the thing that just kind of creeps me out a little bit is all the rabies warnings that are all over the website and posted everywhere here, because it's always in like really big red letters. So that just makes me a little nervous, but anyway, what are you gonna do? This is the wilderness, man. So if you're looking for a little bit more seclusion, some peace and quiet, in a very beautiful wooded setting, like a camping experience specifically, definitely can tell you already that Chiricahua will give you that. Just mainly there are so few camping spots that the number of people are limited, and this area is just so remote and out there that, yeah, this is definitely a different vibe than what I've been experiencing, like at the Grand Canyon, for example, or Zion, Bryce Canyon, any of those places. You definitely feel a little further detached from everything. It is getting later and I still see some open campsites. Doesn't mean, well, they're probably not reserved because they actually put reserved signs on them. this might be an easier than normal campground to get a spot at. Yeah, right now at this time of day, just the golden sunlight on top of the trees here in the campground. Just the peace and quiet. This is probably the most serene and quiet campground I've been to on my recent journeys. Now, one thing that I kind of regret now is not bringing some firewood, because you can see there's quite a bit of distance between the top of this grate and my charcoal. I think it'll work, but if I had a couple pieces of firewood, I think this would be a lot better. So one thing that I haven't mentioned yet, and I meant to say it earlier, is why would you want to camp here, out in the middle of nowhere? Well, if you come to Chiricahua National Monument, and you live in Arizona, and you know that this place is in the middle of nowhere. It is pretty remote. It's hard. It just takes a long time to get to. It's not hard to get to, but it takes a long time. So I've never really fully been able to explore this park because it takes about 4 hours to get here from where I live, and I've tried to day trip it, and you pretty much only have time to drive here, go to a scenic overlook, take in a view, get in your car, and head back home. So it's been a long time coming. I've wanted to do this for so long now, and I'm glad this channel has given me an excuse to do this finally. But I'm really excited because I can take my time now. I'm staying here a couple of nights, and I'll be able to hike all of the trails here. No problem. Well, I've spent a night here, and I've toured the campground. I think I've experienced everything worth experiencing in the very close vicinity of the campground, so I think I'm ready to give you my final thoughts about my stay here at the Bonita Canyon Campground. So yeah, this is, as I've been saying, a very remote, out there experience, and one of the most peaceful and serene experiences that I've had. It's a beautiful campground. It is deep in the woods, well shaded. Every spot is very well shaded. You can't go wrong with that. My only minor gripes, as you probably already know by now, are that the campsites, like the one here, some of them are a little close together for my taste, but it wasn't bad. I didn't hear people talking too loudly. Wasn't bad at all. The other thing, which is understandable, is you only have these grills here. You can't build a nice ground fire and do like a traditional campfire experience. I understand that very well because there's, like I said, there's nobody close by to handle fire emergencies. So that I get. Would I recommend camping here? Absolutely. I will 100% be back one day. One of the finest camping experiences I've had in a long time, despite the slight initial nervousness about the food locker situation, bears roaming around in the area, rabid animals, all that stuff. Didn't see anything. And I hiked through the heart of Chiricahua country today and didn't see a single threatening thing out there. So, Bonita Canyon Campground, it's got my seal of approval. If you're new here, please subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Also, hit that notification bell to stay informed anytime we release new videos, which we do all of the time. Also, you can find us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under the name Cactus Atlas. Well, time to pack her on up, head on out back to Phoenix. So until our next adventure, thanks for joining me, and take it easy. Rabbit skunks.